Setting up your copywriting business, what you need to know. Hello, I'm Bernadette Schwerdt. I've helped over 10,000 people become successful freelance copywriters, and I'd like to help you become one as well. So before we get stuck into this topic, why don't you go over to my website, copyschool.com, Kickstarter, and you can actually download a series of templates and proposals and scripts and a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to help you get your business up and running really, really quickly. So first up, what do you actually need to know in order to set up your copywriting business? Well, there's a few things that you need to do that's going to set you up for success. And the first thing is to actually have a rate card. Now, why do you need a rate card? Well, a rate card tells you the kind of average amounts of money that copywriters are charging, so that when you do talk to a client, you can do so with confidence, knowing that the amounts that you are actually quoting are industry standard. Then you've got something to say and you can say it with confidence. It also covers off the kinds of ways in which you can charge. It might be hourly, it might be by the word, it might be by the project, it might be by retainer. Now, all of those have pros and cons. So it's really worth your while knowing what they are, so that when you do quote, you don't sort of paint yourself into a corner and find yourself undercharging for things that you should be charging more for, because the result of that will be resentment. And you do not want that when you're just starting out with your, initial copywriting work. The other thing you'll need setting up your copywriting business is a pitch script. Now, what this entails is basically a conversation. It's really like, a script that you might get if you're an actor, and you can follow this so that when you actually really do have a true conversation with a client, you know exactly what to say, and you'll have a very good expectation of what they'll say, because we've done this for a long time. And then you say this and they say that, and by the end of it, you've actually, negotiated yourself a really good pricing point for your work. And the recommendation is to use the script, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll start going off on tangents, you'll sort of bumble your way through, you'll sound really unconfident, you'll sound unprofessional, and the client will think, you don't really know what you're doing. I don't feel comfortable and trusting in you, therefore I'm not going to go ahead. So not only will you get paid less, you may not get paid at all because you don't get the job, because your pitch is underdeveloped. The other reason this pitch is important is because there's a lot of copywriting work floating around just in your existing network. It might be at a party or a barbecue or a sporting event, on a plane, and people ask you, what do you do? And most people say, oh, I do a bit of this, bit of that, or, I'm just sort of getting started with my copywriting career, or I'm a nurse, but I'm kind of give this writing thing a crack, So we're all kind of very vague and ambiguous with this pitch. And to be honest, that's how I started off as well. I was really vague and I wasn't clear, and I was just trying to sort of cover all my bases. And in fact, what you need to do is be crystal clear and on point and targeted and direct about what you do, who you help, and the benefits of what you do. The other thing you will eventually need is a portfolio. Now, what is a portfolio? Well, it's just a series of pieces of work that demonstrate your ability. Now, you don't need to have the whole thing in the portfolio. You really just need a bit of a screenshot and a little bit of a summary of what you did for them. The thing with portfolios is, maybe in the beginning of your career, you don't actually have one because you don't have any work. So you got that chicken and the egg scenario. Well, what I recommend is you actually just create a speculative portfolio where you do basically fake ads. So you take an existing ad, maybe from Facebook, or it might be a YouTube ad, or it might be a newspaper ad, and you screenshot it, and then you rewrite it and you make it better. So you've got your kind of before and after, and you put them side by side and you put it into a PDF format, and that's one piece, right? And the fact that it's not been published, or you've been paid for it, or anyone's actually asked you for it, is completely irrelevant. The point is, you've done it and you've demonstrated your ability. So when clients actually ask you to show them something, you've got that, right? And they're not going to go, oh, that wasn't actually done for a real client, or that wasn't charged for. They really don't care. All they want to see is your ability and your potential. The other thing you can do is, if you've got a client in mind that you'd really like to work for, you can actually take some of their existing content and you can redo it. Now, you've got to be a bit careful, because you don't want to make it look like the stuff that they were doing was pretty ordinary. But you do want to say, look, this is what I can do. Or you might do something that's a bit different to what they're already doing, so it doesn't look like it's comparing oranges and oranges. But what they'll really appreciate is you took the time to actually look at their material, to think about what you do differently, and you went the extra mile and actually did it. They'll really, really appreciate that initiative that you've demonstrated. That will also get you over the hump of them saying, you don't have any experience in my sector. So by you doing it, you're saying, well, I might not have, but I can actually demonstrate that I can do the work required. And here's the thing, right? If you don't have a portfolio at the beginning, that's all right, because a lot of the clients that you might find are people in your network. And just by having a conversation and using a pitch template and presenting yourself as a professional, they'll take you at face value. And if you say you're a copywriter, they think, well, you must be, right? Now, it's not like you're pretending to be a pilot or a doctor. It's kind of illegal. But a copywriter, no one's going to say, are you really? Where's your proof? They just, again, take you at face value. So they won't necessarily want to see a portfolio. So don't use that as an excuse to not get started, because they'll just say, well, can we maybe have a conversation? And you go, yeah, let's do it. Let's set up a discovery session. And that's when you can demonstrate some of your knowledge. And here's the thing, even if you do a short course in copywriting, you will know more than they do, right? So don't feel that just because you haven't had years of experience that you can't offer value. Even just doing a short course and understanding a little bit about copywriting will be enough to impress them, because they'll never have heard of half the things that you're talking about or be aware of half the techniques that you can apply to make their copy sing. The other thing that you'll need to kickstart your copywriting business is a proposal. So when clients ask you or prospects ask you to send them something after a little bit of a chat, you need to know what to send them. And this is really common, that because emerging copywriters don't know what to do here, they actually don't send anything, and the whole opportunity just disappears into the ether. What a waste, right? Don't let your copywriting career disappear before you've even started, simply because you don't have a proposal to send them. So don't reinvent the wheel. We've got the proposal written for you. You just insert your name, your dates, your amounts, the scope of the project, and the rest of the proposal is actually written for you. It is a literally paint by numbers opportunity. So if you need a proposal to help you get started so that you look professional and you can sort of give your information confidently, this template will do it for you. Now, the last thing you can put into your sort of Kickstarter pack is the business card. And a lot of people say, well, isn't that a bit analog? Isn't that a bit old-fashioned? And I have to tell you, it is not. It is one of the fastest, easiest, most affordable ways to actually build your copywriting business and get that first client. Because what happens in a conversation, let's say one-to-one, face-to-face, is you're having a lovely time and you're chatting, you're building rapport, and they understand what you do. And then you think, well, how do we connect after this? And they say, well, look me up on Insta or look me up on LinkedIn. The trouble is you don't know how to spell their name, and they don't know how to spell your name. And so you've left not knowing actually how to connect with each other, unless you sort of get your phones out and do all that sort of, swapping. And that's fine, and you can do that. But a card is so elegant, it's so effortless. And also, they've actually got something hard copy to hold on to. So when they get back to their office and they're emptying out their wallet or whatever they're doing, your card falls out. They go, oh, that's right, I remember her or him. Oh, yeah, that's right. And they might even just put it aside for a while and actually ignore you, right? But there will come a time when they need a copywriter, and there will be your card. And not only that, it gives you the opportunity to get their card so you can start to build your database as well. So the card may be an analog sort of dinosaur, but it works, and it's seamless and it's elegant. And the other thing it does is it really positions you as a professional, because again, you've got this sense of, I've got a card, and it might be a little piece of cardboard, but it kind of affirms you, and it gives you confidence to think, this is what I do. And you hand it over, even if you're feeling a bit like an imposter, but it's kind of like your little sales rep that's working for you 24/7 when you're not there. Okay. So if you haven't already, go over to copyschool.com/Kickstarter and pick up all the proposals and the templates and the pitch scripts that you need to launch your successful copywriting business today. Good luck and happy writing.